All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION this hour. In their quest for power, the Taliban insurgents are now fighting to take control of a string of cities across Afghanistan. In response to the increased US airstrikes, the insurgents are now attacking provincial cities. Fierce fighting has also targeted areas around Herat, Lashkar Gah and Kandahar for nearly over a week. Meanwhile, the Afghan forces have also launched a counter-offensive in Helmand's capital, Lashkar Gah, amidst the ongoing airstrikes and the ground attacks against the Taliban. Elsewhere in Helmand, Afghan special forces have urged residents to leave the city or to stay away from areas with the Taliban presence. The Afghan Air Force has carried out more airstrikes against the Taliban positions, and a Defense Ministry statement has said that airstrikes were carried out across the country, including in Helmand, where the provincial capital of Lashkar Gah is being fiercely contested. The Taliban control nearly about 9 of the city's 10 police districts. The loss of provincial capital Lashkar Gah will be a massive strategic and psychological blow for the government.
یا هم موږ په ټولو درنو شاګانو باندې غږ کوو چې د دشمن او د طالبانو څخه ځان لرې وساتي، ځکه موږ د هوایي او ځمکني ځواکونو ضربات په ډېر شدت سره پر طالبانو پر تروریستانو باندې په لښکرګاه کې او په ټول هلمند کې جریان لري.
Meanwhile, the insurgents have also infiltrated into several parts of Herat. Afghan security forces fired on the Taliban alongside militia as residents left the area. The army has told the city's 200,000 people to evacuate as they prepare their offensive. Hundreds of families have managed to flee, but several have been caught in the crossfire. Many fear that they could be killed on the way. The United Nations has condemned the violence and the war crimes committed by the Taliban in the Helmand and also in the Kandahar region, as civilian deaths and also damage to critical infrastructure continues to mount.
والله وضعیت برای خیلی مشکله، خیلی سخته. آنمی خونه‌هامو همه ویران شد. برادر گفتن همه بجستم. طالبان برای شده بالا خونه‌هامو. اونجا سنگر گیرید، 8-9 تا طالب. ادی بر بدن خونه چپشه، ما در بدر هیرون هیدار بالا. با کدی گربه، چی رقم میشه؟
But the fighting has in fact driven thousands of people from other provinces to seek refuge in the Kandahar city, which is under siege by the Taliban. In Kandahar, Afghan security forces have set up checkposts searching for the Taliban insurgents trying to flee from the city. The Kandahar Provincial Health Department's director, Dr. Mohammad Tawos Ashraf, has said that there have been well over 300 people who have been wounded in just the last 15 days, including 215 civilians. Government forces control only 3 of Kandahar's province's 17 districts.
پنځلو ورځو کې 304 زخمیان موږ ته راوړل شوي چې د هغه جملې څخه 9 اتیا زخمیان نظامي دي او 215 ملکي دي چې په ملکیو کې ماشومان، ښځې او نارینه شامل دي. په دې څنګ کې 33 تنه شهیدان راوړل شوي جسدونه دي چې هغه مختلط او ګډ شهیدان دي او هغه اکثرا وارثین پیدا دي، اکثرا مجهول هویت.
As attacks intensify, Afghan security forces and government troops have retaliated with increasing airstrikes, and this has also raised growing concerns about civilian casualties across the country. With vast swathes of the countryside and key border towns under the Taliban's control, ordinary Afghan people are paying the ultimate price. The other ones being caught in the fighting as the battle for key cities still remains at a stalemate despite days of ground and air operations.
ما خیلی احساس بدی داریم. خودمون تو جاده تو آورده محلی اصلا هیچ وضعیتی نداریم. دقیقاً همین الان خودتون دیدیم طالبان از سمت محل عربا دیدیم داخل وزیرکرباس. همین الان صدا فیرا میاد. دقیقاً اول سر وزیرکرباس تانک اینجا استاده بود. همون مرمی اصابت کرد به خود پلاستیکی و پنچر شد. دیدیم الان اینجا رد شد. اصلا ما محل کلا تخلیه کردیم. اصلا چه دیگه ما اصلا نمونده انا اصلا خودمون بیجاییم نمیفهمیم کجا بریم.
And showing support to the forces, a group of women visited Afghan security forces battling the Taliban in Herat. The women paid tribute with flowers and also donated food packages to the families of the security forces who were wounded in the recent fighting.
هدف اصلی ما این بوده که انگیزه بدیم برای نیروهای امنیتی که دلداری بدیم برایشان که اگر اونا میرن به خط اول حمله به خط اول جنگ میرن و از جان خود میگذرن ما هم هستیم پشت سر اونا و مثل کوه مثل خواهر اینا مثل مادر اینا با اونا هستیم به دعاگوی اونا هستیم و حمایتگر اونا هستیم.
And also WION's Anas Malik, who's tracking the story very closely for us, has sent us this report. Listen in.
Continue in parts of Afghanistan, with Taliban continuing with their offensive on at least 3 major cities, that of being the Kandahar city, the Herat city and Lashkar Gah, the capital of the province of Helmand. We saw airstrikes coming in both from the US and the Afghan Air Force late last night in Lashkar Gah city that has for the time being at least pushed back the Taliban. The Herat airport has been opened. It was closed for 2 days after rockets landed around the airport itself. Additionally, the government has claimed of killing at least 275 Taliban fighters in the past 24 hours, a claim that has been rebutted by the Afghan Taliban spokesperson. The Afghan Taliban, on the other hand, have closed the Chaman Spin Boldak crossing with Pakistan after they presented a charter of demands that the Pakistani side refused to acknowledge, that included visa-free access and no taxation of smuggled goods. That is what the Pakistani side had rejected, after which the Afghan Taliban have closed the Chaman Spin Boldak border. Anas Malik in Kabul, Afghanistan for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.